It is 2024. We're talking about developing more healthier habits. But I got COVID. It's funny. And I'm laughing. Wait. COVID is not funny. I'm laughing because I'm talking about healthier habits. And as of right now, recording this episode, I have COVID. But we're going to talk about developing healthy habits and how this all ties into me, per se, having COVID. So, welcome back to another episode of the You, Me, and Jesus podcast, where we talk about all things you, me, and Jesus. So, this is not an episode where we're talking about COVID 19, if it's real, if it's not, because people can go all the way left and right. I am positive. I am home alone. It's fine. But today's episode, we're talking about developing healthier habits. All right. And so we're going to talk about healthier habits in your life, healthy habits in your spirituality, and things of that nature. Okay. So, yes, I have COVID. I know you're saying to yourself, well, why are you recording this? Well, because last week I did not have an episode go out because I was in Puerto Rico for a conference I was speaking at. And then this week I wanted an episode to go out. And I'm on the other side of COVID. Yesterday, the day before was of that were not good. But today is a lot better. And so I was able to record this episode. Okay. So if you want to pray for me, please do. Okay. But ultimately there's that. So when we talk about developing healthy habits, like, sorry, my cat's down there. Like, I'm trying to film, and those of you guys watching on YouTube, you can see me kind of looking down. But those listening, you can't quite see me doing that. But my cat is right by my feet, and I have to like stand in one spot. But anyway, so when we talk about developing healthy habits, before we can develop any kind of healthy habit in our life, we have to first recognize that there are some unhealthy habits, right? Which requires self-awareness, right? Which requires some accountability. It requires brave people to like come along and share things with us that we may not know, we may not agree with, we may not like, or whatever. So let's just kind of talk about, let's just say me with COVID. What is a healthy habit that I could practice, let's just say with COVID, right? Because I have it right now. One healthy habit is avoiding people. Healthy habit, right? Why? Because one, I am contagious, okay? If I go and get around other people have a potential of getting COVID, which they could get to the next person and the next person and the next person. And so a healthy habit is not being around people, but it's also being very considerate of others, right? And so even though we're talking about me with COVID, it's like, okay, let's think about that. When we talk about like healthy is like, there's a lot of different things that go along with healthy. And we're going to talk about natural stuff and spiritual stuff and all that. But from a natural standpoint of healthy, we're talking about other people's health, right? So I'll give you an example. So yesterday, as I was trying to find food to eat, I was just like, man, I don't really have much food here. I don't really like ordering from Instacart because the prices on Instacart are like sometimes double per item, plus the delivery fees, service fees, and then the tip. It's like all these fees that, get tacked on for Instacart. I get why they do it, but I don't like to always pay for it. I just don't. And so I battled back and forth of, do I put on double mask and go to the grocery store and get groceries, or do I bite the bullet and just, order on Instacart? And I wrestled and I wrestled and I wrestled. And I was finally settling on the fact that I was going to go ahead and order on Instacart. Well, a friend of mine reached out to me because I was supposed to go to like this mini golf thing last night. And of course, I said I can't go because I got COVID. And she saw the message. She was like, oh my God, what's your Venmo? I want to send you some money so you can order you some groceries. And I was like, you don't have to do that. She goes, I want to. And she sends me $100. So the amount of money that I needed to spend for the groceries that I had made a decision on to do the right thing is somebody else pay for it. So it was kind of like, here was this moment in time where I chose to do the right thing, the healthy thing for myself and for other people. And here was this like super quick like return on a reward. I mean, it was amazing how quickly that just kind of like turned around. You know what I mean? And so that's just like, wow. Now, not to mention, I went to a small church. I've been going to a small church on Sunday nights because it's very Holy Spirit. It's pretty awesome. And when I tested positive for COVID, I said, I should probably tell the pastor that I have COVID, And so I was like, but at first I was kind of like, oh, I don't want them to be upset. I don't want them to whatever. And I'm like, no, it's more important for them to know than for them not to know. Right. And so I told them, and I'm like, okay, so now they are aware that this is a thing that someone in the church is dealing with or has dealt with or whatever. It's the right thing to do. So it's like, I'm considerate of other people, and not just considerate of myself. Okay. So that's a healthy habit. Another thing when it comes to a healthy habit is like, I recently had this huge, major surgery. And I needed all the help that I could possibly get. I mean, I needed a lot of help for 6 weeks. And in the midst of it, I started to feel better, but I still needed help. And so I was back in my right frame of mind where I could get help from people, but I could also still be available to people. Maybe not in my physical body going and doing something, but just in my mind or whatever. And so I found myself with the people that were coming over to help me, that me just kind of sitting down with them and doing what I do best. I'm a minister, I'm like part-time psychologist, not really. I'm just being dramatic. And I had so many people that came in to help me that I was able to sit with and help them. And they just had the encounters with God. All these things were happening because my thing was, yes, I can. I'm here to receive from you, but now I have something I can actually give, right? Being considerate of others and not just taking. Make sense? Not to mention, I have people who wanted to continue to like bring me food, order me food, and all those types of things. And once I realized that I had it in me to start making my own food again, getting up, going to the grocery store again, the habit for me was to go, hey, so I'm okay now. I don't need the help of this, and this anymore. Thank you so much for all of that help. And I bought you a gift. So every single person that came and helped me during my surgery, I bought them a gift. Like it was like, I think 20 people, I bought them all a gift, right? Some of them were bigger gifts than others. They spent more time like over and over and over again. And others was just a small gift, but it was still, they spent their time and energy to help me. And so the healthy habit of that was not just to be considerate of others, but to show my appreciation, right? Because here's the deal. Like every last person did that out of the kindness of that heart to just be kind to me. They were not expecting anything from me. But because I received from them, I made a conscious decision to do something that was going to be a blessing to them, which is a small gift. It was not expensive at all, but it made them feel thankful. It made them feel appreciated. That like I really appreciated them helping me. I told them that, but that rather solidified it even more, if that makes sense. So when we're talking about like developing healthy habits, right? One of the things we have to first like ask ourselves is like, what is happening that's unhealthy? So like years ago, I was not someone who was self-aware, who was always showing appreciation for folks, who was considerate of others, right? And I had to learn the hard way, seeing how people were responding to me or not responding to me, as a result of me being selfish, self-centered, and things of that nature, right? Seeing how my life had gone in such a dark place out of disobedience to God, some of it knowingly, some unknowingly, not really seeking his guidance, his wisdom, his insight and all that, like not really making it a part of my like daily practice of considering God before doing a thing. You know what I mean? Um, I watched life do that for such a long period of time, right? To where I said, okay, maybe I should try something different, right? So I'll give an example. Like, I never asked my God specifically if I was supposed to marry my ex-husband. Maybe I did, and maybe I didn't listen, right? Because there were so many different warning signs. I just didn't understand what I was seeing, to where there was that. And so now, when I've been on this journey of dating or whatever, I'm very aware, very heightened. And nowadays, when I think about wanting to see someone, one of the first things that I do is I consult with God, right? To see what he has to say. Like, I just had something happen a couple days ago. There was someone I wanted to work with for my business. And I started the whole process and doing all these things, giving access to this, access to that. And that night I went to bed and I dreamt about somebody stealing one of the tires off my car, and then stealing two tires off my car, and then stealing the entire car. I was like, the entire car? And I was like, wait a minute, what is happening? There's nothing, like, the only thing that is different here is this moment, is this person. Like, there's nothing else has happened because I've been dealing with COVID. It's only been the interaction with this person. And I said, okay, I think I need to pull back from connecting with them. And then I just kind of said, God, can you please talk to me more about what is happening here? Because I don't understand what's happening here, right? But what that has done and is doing in this particular instance is this is yet another reminder of that, like, Kenya, before you do anything, before you make an agreement with anybody, before you hire anyone, go on a date with anyone, become in covenant with anyone, before you do any of those things, you have got to make sure you are keeping up with that healthy habit of consulting with God. Because when I look at that alone is like probably the best habit I could ever have, right? But what is that like? Before I could do that, I had to recognize that I don't know what I'm doing. I had to recognize that I've made unhealthy decisions without God, right? And that I'm making healthier ones with him, right? That's like when I think about like weight loss and all that, I'm like, okay, if I am going to lose weight, that means I've got to learn what does my body need to lose weight, right? Yes, I need to exercise, drink water, but also what do I need to have more of? What do I need to have less of? Because so that means I have to be self-aware. I got to know, what does my particular body need in order to go on this journey to be able to lose weight. Without knowing that, I can't turn an unhealthy habit into a healthy one. I just can't, because there's a lack of awareness. You know what I mean? And so when I thought about today's episode, I thought to myself, how do we develop healthy habits? Whether it's in the natural or it's in the spiritual, first things first is we have to have an awareness of what is unhealthy. Because without the awareness of what is unhealthy, there is no way to become healthy, right? You go to your psychiatrist, psychologist, whatever, they can't help you with anything until they first say, so what was the reason why you came in today? And you start telling them and talking to them, and then them asking you more questions and you keep talking. Them asking you more questions, you keep talking. And then they're able to uncover certain things, and they can show you, here's what's happening, good or not so good, and here's what you want to have happen. Well, in order for us to get out of this and get to this, then whatever, right? So my recommendation is, if your goal, not just this year, but for your life, is to get some new, healthier habits, right? Whether that's in your natural life or your spiritual life, whatever that is, if that's your goal this year, then I want you to first just take two. What's one natural thing? What's one spiritual thing? Where you're like, this is what I want this healthy habit of. Okay, this is what you want. I want you to ask yourself the question, what is actually happening right now? Okay? What is actually happening right now? Because once you know what is happening right now, then you can see what is happening right now, right? Because if you're, okay, like I want to lose weight, but I keep ordering ice cream. I'm just saying. And so I'm like, okay, it's okay to have ice cream in the house. But if I'm going to have ice cream in the house, what should I do? Maybe if I'm going to have ice cream, have it earlier in the day before I go and exercise, right? That way I don't deprive myself of ice cream. I just don't have ice cream after 7 o'clock when I'm not going to burn any sugar, any like fat. I'm not going to burn anything. Does that make sense? If I'm going to do, like, does that make sense? So it's kind of like, if I'm going to lose weight, then I've got to build in the time when I'm actually going to go and exercise, right? I'm going to actually eat foods that are going to help me. I'm not saying I'm going to get rid of everything, but I'm going to eat the good things that I need to have in order to help with the goals that I say that I want. Because I say I want a better lifestyle, I want better habits. Okay. So I know this is a short episode because again, your girl has COVID. But I want you to tell me, what is one habit naturally and spiritually that you want to do healthy? You don't have to give me the negative if you don't want to out yourself like that, but tell me in the comments, what are those things that you want to do better at this year, and so I can support you.